Can you talk about any pushback, if there is any, about reopening the schools and doing it too quickly at a time when President Trump would like to see things get back to normal as soon as possible?
Lisa, this is the crucial debate. And quite frankly, Republicans want to have this debate, especially as they're staring down another fight of economic stimulus, because higher education, private schools, public schools are all going to be at the negotiating table for this next round of economic stimulus. And quite frankly, Republicans are saying that they want to be on the side of reopening schools, even if there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding that. Democrats are saying that if that's going to be the case, then they're going to need more money in order to make sure that the classrooms are safer. Either way, this is a debate. I can't stress this enough, that Republicans looking at polling, looking at independent polls in swing states feel is going to help them.
Kevin, I mean, it's all political, and I get the idea that teachers' unions and Republicans and that. Is it really that simple? Is this really just about election positioning?
You know, I think that there obviously is the influence of data, particularly as it relates to if there's going to be an uptick come the fall. You're seeing universities across the country make different decisions as it relates to sporting leagues, but also whether or not students should be able to be coming back on campus. You know, anecdotally speaking, some private schools are suggesting that several days a week there might be online learning and really forcing parents to make a choice. But the bottom line here is that this has really illustrated all of the inequity, really, in the education system, and it's just one more microcosm of that.
Kevin, the president taking a new path, seen in a mask over the weekend, and I'm not going to get snarky about this. I think there's been a real shift in the rhetoric from this administration over the last several weeks. The why? You see it in the polls, don't you? There was one poll over the weekend where Democratic nominee Joe Biden led the president of the United States by 5 points. Where? In Texas. How worried is this administration?
Well, look, for the administration, they feel that they need to make this President Trump versus former Vice President Biden. And right now, it's Trump versus coronavirus. That's good for the Democrats, bad for Republicans. For the Republicans to get back on offense, based upon the conversations that I've had, Jonathan, with Republican and Democratic strategists, it's going to have to be Trump versus Biden, not Trump versus coronavirus.
Kevin Cirilli, what is Vice President Biden's agenda this week?
Well, for his standpoint, he's going to be continuing to tout his economic plan that he had put forth. He's going to also be engaging in a series of small discussions with small business leaders. But the focus for him has been, from a strategic standpoint, to continue to make the focus about Trump.
In the meantime, health very much in the front and center. Anthony Fauci, the top infectious disease specialist, has been increasingly sidelined. Who's taking his place to lead the charge against COVID-19?
Well, Dr. Fauci has been largely politicized by both Republicans and Democrats, and you had the former vice president saying that he would have Dr. Fauci continue to serve in his administration if he were to become president. Meanwhile, last week I interviewed Dr. Deborah Birx, as she, of course, is another top official in the administration who is really working behind the scenes on issues like education and like other and reopening schools as well. But at the end of the day, I think that it's been this reliance upon the private sector in terms of some cases for economic data as it relates to whether or not businesses can reopen, Lisa. But from an education standpoint, this is to say it's volatile is an understatement, because there's so many different the education system here in America has been so politicized with public versus private, charter schools and whatnot. And that's really what's being pushed and coming to a boiling point right now.